Alright guys, so the walls are all finished now on all these cavities. And like I mentioned before, you want everything to connect and have continuity through it as far as the electrical current goes. So you need the conductivity to work its way all the way through the system here. So in order to achieve that, you'll notice that I've got little sections of the copper tape overlapping the edges of all of these cavities, enough to make good contact with the plates going over them. So that in and of itself is going to connect all of these, or at least the ones that are touching the same plates. Now, so these all three of these ones up here are going to be under the pick guard. They're all going to be touching the same plate. These two are connected through this, oh, yikes, that wasn't quite stuck down right. These two are connected through this channel. There's a piece of tape running through there. These two are kind of connected through the bottom there, but there's a plate going over top of them, so I'm just going to show that one way to connect them, well, is through that channel. I'm going to demonstrate that a different way. Another is the fact that the conductive pick guard is going to connect them as well. And just to be extra certain, what I'm going to do is just use one piece of tape, bridge over top, and make absolutely sure that those are connected so that the shielding is continuous throughout the two of those. Now, so let me flick on my soldering iron here. These are a little more complicated. This one has its own plate, the control cavity here, that has its own plate, and of course the tailpiece plate for this one is separate as well. So this pickup and the control cavity, those need to be connected. I can't just run a piece of tape across because there's a break in the plates there and you'd see it. So in order to achieve the best results here, what we need to do is pass something through the holes there. I've just gone and used a screw or a drill bit or something. I think I used a screw and a drill bit actually to poke the holes in the tape there. So we need to pass something through there where our wires are going to go and just make sure that those are connected. So what I'm going to use for this is just a piece of guitar string. Not the wound stuff, just the basic. I think this one was a G or something. I can't remember what gauge. This is from an old set. But I'm going to fire one end through into that cavity, and I'm going to solder the tip down, and then I'm going to trim it and solder the other end. So I'm going to do this side first, just with the camera where it is, and then I'll see if I can move the camera in. It's going to be pretty tough for me to give you a view of this, but I'll see what I can do. So when you're soldering, this isn't a soldering tutorial, but make sure that you tin your iron first. If you can tin it and clean it. If you can tin your item that you're soldering, that's good as well. You can do that by putting a little extra solder on your iron, and then putting your item in it, and just you need to be more stable here, and just letting it heat up until that solder actually sticks to it, which can take a moment. Be careful your hands aren't too close to the end where you're heating. That can be an unfortunate situation. And yeah, depending on what you're heating up, this can take a moment, and depending on what kind of solder you're using. I'm using, what is it, 6040 rosin core wire, and my heat right now is about 620 Fahrenheit. I don't know why I have it set to Fahrenheit, but I do. There we go. So that's got some tin on the end of it. It's going to be real hard to see in there. Give that a second to cool off. Clean this guy and tin it again. There we go. And then I'm going to pass the wire back through there. And hold it down with the soldering iron. Now it can be kind of tough to, well, first of all, to get in these cavities you need a fairly long wire going. So use the thicker stuff if you can, because it's more stable. And it can be a bit difficult to get this stuff to solder onto the copper. Sometimes you just need to hold it there for a while and heat everything up so that it sticks. It's not always an issue. It's a little bit hit and miss, to be honest with you, which it shouldn't be, but there we go. So that ends down. I'm going to give that a moment to cool. Make sure it looks shiny. If your solder doesn't look shiny, it's probably not on there properly. I'm just going to pull on it a little bit. Oh yeah, that's on there good. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to trim the end. Right, apparently I'm lying to you. I'm going to go get some wire trimmers that are stronger than these and cut this guitar wire. Alright, here we go. Yeah, these guitar strings are stronger than they look. There. So again, I'm just going to clean off my soldering iron. Tin. Clean it again, because I like to do things twice. That's a lie. Then I'm going to use the soldering iron to pin this string down. Heat it up for a second and run some solder onto it. Woo. Carefully. Let me try that again. Make sure you're holding it down properly. That you heat it up, that you run some solder onto it. And then if you can, use something else to hold it down when you take your soldering iron away, and give that solder a moment. Make sure that it has time to harden up before you pull your other item off. Otherwise you're going to flick little bits of solder at yourself, which isn't ideal. Alright, so that covers the connection between these two. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing for these two. Now you'll recall, hopefully, and by that I mean hopefully I mentioned, if you really want to take this kind of to the next level, what you can do is actually solder the joints where the various pieces of copper tape meet, and that really ensures that everything is basically in one electrical current, or is that the right word? Circuit? Circuit would make more sense. So I'm actually going to do a couple of these joints. It really doesn't take long. Running the entire joint takes a long time, and personally I don't feel that it's necessary. But a couple of the joints that I'm relying on to connect different channels, I'm just going to run some solder onto those joints and just make sure that everything is all continuous. So now I'm going to solder that wire in place, and I'm actually going to pull it to the edge of the bottom piece of copper tape here, so that I can, at the exact same time that I'm soldering it in there, I can also solder it to the top piece and just get all that connecting done at once. Give that a second to harden before I bend this down to so you can secure it. Right, there we go. Make sure my iron is clean, and that is it. Alright guys, so that takes care of our copper shielding job. Shouldn't have to worry about buzz on this one now. I'm going to start putting the electronics in here. Might do a quick video about that as well. And even if I don't, stay tuned to check this thing out in a subsequent video when it's all ready to go. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up so it'll be easier for other people to find, and subscribe to stay up to date with all the cool projects I got coming out. Also, a big shout out to Soldering, who does the vast majority of the music for my channel, way better on guitar than I am, and to Troy from Noise Guitar Mods. I'll put the link in the description. The man is a great guitar tech, and he's taught me most of what I know about how the internals of these things work. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. See you next time.